Good God, I've got a lot of background noise going on here. What is this monstrosity? There we are. How unnerving was that? It is here. It is the Absolute Football Podcast, the award-winning Absolute Football Podcast for moments just as that, when I don't realise that I've got audio playing on my screen, which I make sure the podcast is on. Wasn't that exciting from everybody? But it is the Absolute Football Podcast, where we talk about football, which Webster's Dictionary describes as a game played between two teams, usually on a rectangular field, having goalposts or goals at each end, whose objective is to get the ball over a line into a goal. Or we could look at the social issues research fund that says football is associated with passion, emotion, excitement, and dedication across Europe. And here on the Absolute Football Podcast, we describe it as bloody brilliant. And we are here to talk football with some bloody brilliant people. Of course, it is the one, the only, the myth, the legendary Charlotte. How are you this evening, Charlotte?
Yeah, I'm really good, thank you. I'm excited to do a pod with both of you because I feel like I've not done one in ages with the pair of you. So, yeah, I'm excited, but I will apologise now. My Wi-Fi does keep playing up because of this storm. So if I do disappear, that is why. I've not been took out again.
It could be worse. You could have another computer playing in the background, blasting out everything you're saying back at you. So that's fine. I'm glad you added the caveat when you said, it feels like I haven't done a pod with you guys because you're podding all the time. Charlotte is just a non-stop podcast machine.
I'm a podder.
What a podder. I'm a plodder. You're a podder. And abusive men fodder is United hand. And, the lady that upsets all men with ego issues. And how are you this evening?
I feel like a crusader when you say that, Josh. I'm good, thanks. Yeah, it's so nice to be with you both. I veto what Charlotte said. It's nice for it to be the three of us. And hi, Sam in the chat and everyone else. But I hope everyone's good and staying out of this awful weather.
It is awful weather. And in the chat, we've got already Mr. Luke Elevate, Mr. Luke. And Johnny on Twitter, hey guys, thank you for joining us. And Simon saying, evening gang. Mr. Duck Samuel joins us in the chat. What a pleasure to have you, Samuel. What a trio. My favourite Welshman. I think I'm the only one he knows. My favourite United fan. He lives outside of Manchester, so he probably knows lots. And my favourite Rochdale legend.
Hey.
And Rochdale is full of legends, so I would take that as a huge...
It's not. It's really not. I'm the best out of a bad bunch.
That's just so unfair. And Luke saying I should put that in my blooper reel for those of you that missed my little whoopsie that I made at the start. Check it out. Why not? And it's Jamie from the Dale as well joining us. Thank you for joining us. And it's
obviously
lovely.
Jamie's a good one too.
There you go. Is he a legend? I don't know. We will find out over the
Any
course.
Rochdale fan's a legend.
Yeah. And
They've got to endure the pain of watching us. So of course they are.
I'm laughing at Sam.
Sam saying the Liverpool-based Liverpool fan, as scouse as a mouse. Ian Rush is what I support, the Welsh legend. I live on a mountain. I don't have the benefit of a local team. Let's put that down too. And Heather's saying hello, and Simon saying it's two legends, and Josh. I'm just here for the abuse. I'm here for the abuse and to be abused. But which game should we start on if we're talking about being abused? And, we'll pick which game shall we pick? We'll start with talking about being abused. We'll start with Arsenal 5, Crystal Palace 0. I mean, Hannah, that face told it all. How did that game make you feel?
Do you know what, Josh? You won't want to hear this, but I'm actually not glad, but my preference is now Arsenal winning their games because it would be really upsetting for me if Liverpool or City win the league. So I'm kind of rooting for Arsenal. But you know what? I felt so bad for Roy, honestly. And I know it's his job, and I know he's done it for a long, long time, and he's an absolute legend. But that's it. He's a legend. And did you see the picture of him with the sign, stood reading it? It's like the poor man, honestly, I really do
read it. It was too far away. He just saw this stuff going on.
I did really feel for him, and it's one of them. Like, I can see Crystal Palace's fans' frustrations with their ownership. As a Manchester United fan, I feel that deeply, and I really do empathise with that. So it was a great game to watch. Like, the goals that were scored were good. Like, 2 at the end from Martinelli, like absolute blockbuster game. But in regards to Crystal Palace, and I'm not their biggest fan. They beat us at Old Trafford this year, so I didn't like them. But yesterday, like, you felt for Roy, you felt for the players, you felt for the fans. But all in all, apart from that, a great game. Just not for Palace. Sorry if you're a Palace fan.
Yeah, I mean, we'll pull it on Arsenal. I mean, all the talk, and it did do my head in after a little bit. They've worked really hard on their set pieces. They've been in Dubai. All they've done, they haven't gone swimming. They haven't been sunbathing. They have been working on their set pieces, and it sort of showed a little bit. I mean, I know there was two set piece goals. That was well worked. Do you think?
Yeah, they were good. You could tell they were straight from the training ground. But like, I'm never going to be happy when Arsenal scores a goal. But like I say, if they can win at the moment, great. Sorry, Josh, they need to come back up for you, because 5 points clear. Like, what is happening?
Don't worry. We can bask in that sunshine in a little bit. Don't worry, it's coming. It's coming. Don't worry, that's fine. But I mean,
Charles, like.
I know they were. It was okay football. I thought they did not rather well. But I mean, Char, you're an advocate for Roy Hodgson in that you're a lovely person that likes people. Did you feel for him there at the end?
I did really feel for him, and to be honest, I felt for him quite a lot this season, because I just feel like it can't really do much. It can't really go much further with Crystal Palace. I don't think they have actually got that much in the transfer window as well this season. I think they're relying on Eze a little bit too much as well. And I think it's a bit too much pressure for him. Don't get me wrong. He had some good chances. One in particular, I think it was a free kick, and David Raya just got his fingertips to it. So, yeah. But I just think for Roy, I think it is obviously, I think, did they actually say that he was, well, they say retiring, but it was leaving Palace at the end of this season? I just think now he needs to kind of just take a break from it all, because it's getting too much for him, and you can tell, like, he's really suffering. He looks so tired as well. And yeah, I really do feel for Crystal Palace, and I don't think it's all on Roy Hodgson. As Hannah said, I think it is the ownership. I think they're just not investing in the players. They've lost some massive players as well, like Zaha. Obviously, big shoes to fill from that, and he was a scorer. So yeah, I think it's a bit of bad times for Crystal Palace. And even though there's a few teams below them, I don't think they are safe yet, and I think they could potentially be dragged into it, because teams around them are picking up points, like your Lutons, who no one would think that, but Luton I actually think are a bigger threat at the minute. I think their home record and just how Rob Edwards has got them playing at the minute, I think they'll be up there. They've got obviously the potential points deductions from Nottingham Forest and Everton if that does happen. But yeah, I really do think Crystal Palace could be in trouble. I really do. And it's not nice to see, because I do like Roy. He's been a massive advocate for football, hasn't he? He's just done some great stuff. So yeah, it's really sad to see them in that state.
I mean, he did say himself that they're in a relegation battle.
Oh,
what a cheap shot! What a cheap shot!
That is a cheap shot.
My own. He did. Behave yourself. That's dreadful, isn't it? And Adam, welcome, Adam. Thank you for joining us in the chat as well. I mean, he did say at the end that they are in a relegation battle. But I thought that he's been one of those managers that people think that you think of organisation and at least being well drilled. I mean, I don't know if you noticed, but defensively, despite having 5 defenders across the back, how much space did Saka have consistently out on the wing? There was no one sort of covering at all at any point. I mean, do you think? I mean, they put too much eggs in the SA basket. I mean, do you think maybe tactically he's just out of his depth now, as in because of the progression that football made, and he should have, he was of retirement age 11 years ago. So do you think it's gone beyond him now and he can only do a certain job, or do you think it's just the resources at Palace?
I think it's a bit of both, really. Like, as we've mentioned, I know Sam mentioned it last week with obviously United, and I think it's a bit of like the tactics, but also like injuries, also like the amount of numbers of players they've actually got as well. And I think with Crystal Palace, they were that heavily reliant on Wilfried Zaha. So obviously that's a big loss. And I just, like I said, I think there's just far too much pressure on Eze. And I do feel for him, and I think it's just a bit of everything, to be honest. I think they've been constantly like season after season, and they do manage to get out of it. But I don't know if this season they will be that lucky. I don't think they will necessarily go down, because I think there is worse teams. But I think it'll be a lot closer than they did last season, because they managed to get out of it last season by quite a few points. But I think this season will be a massive struggle compared to last.
It just doesn't seem to be happening. I mean, I'm looking at the stats. Arsenal only had 6 shots on target, so that's a little bit unnerving. And I mean, Crystal Palace had 5. Granted, they probably all Eze, and I think they probably all from outside of the box. But to be scoring 5 goals out of your 6 shots on target,
some of the chances he did have as well, Crystal Palace, I think, and I'm not saying them all, but I think a lot of them was because they put a lot of pressure on David Raya, and he kind of made a couple of mistakes. So I think that's where a lot of their chances actually did come from. It was David Raya being under pressure and his mistakes.
Yeah, it just wasn't very creative. I mean, Mr. Luke in the chat saying you've got to feel for Roy. His time is possibly coming to an end. Simon saying Roy should have stayed retired. He looks so dejected at times. And he's worked hard. He's had a long, pretty distinguished career. He had a nice run. I liked him. Was it Fulham that he did a nice little run at? And that was quite cozy, and that felt really nice and sweet. And I thought it was quite fitting to see him in a stadium called the Cottage, because it just looked
Bless
like
him.
this little old man in his cottage, and I thought that was really nice that you could sort of retire off into the sunset. And but I mean, Hannah, Crystal Palace, do you think they've been dragged into this relegation zone? And if they do you think they got the stones to stay up?
I think, like Shah said, it's there's definitely worse teams than them, but I definitely think Sheffield United are going down. The other 2 teams, I'm not sure. And it really does depend what happens with Nottingham Forest and Everton. I think even if both of those teams do get another or a 10-point deduction, they'll be okay. But it drags them down there too. So I think, like, to agree with Charlotte, it'll definitely be scrappier. And I think the relegation battle will be really interesting this year, because it's kind of like at the moment, there's like 3 or 4 teams quite close in points at the bottom, and then there's a big gap. So it's going to be interesting to see if any of those teams kind of mid-table, Manchester United, drop points and then like get further and further down. But it will be interesting for sure. Like, I always think the relegation battle's just as interesting as the title race. Yeah. Like, because teams will pull it back at the end, like, of the season. Like when you get to your March, April, May, like, gets interesting. This is the good point. Yeah.
I mean, some saying Hodgson incidentally got Fulham to the UEFA Cup final in 2010. My days, 14 years ago. Oh my days. I mean, and if you look at their previous form, I mean, they've not been losing loads. I mean, they drew with Brighton, they beat Brentford, they drew with Man City, they drew with West Ham. They've had sort of up and down games, but for me, it's just the performances have been rather lackluster. I'd rather want to stick pins in my eyes than sort of watch some of their football, because but I think it is a little bit more they're working within the confines of what they've got. I mean, who have they signed or linked to in January? Who did they sign?
The owners need to pull up their socks though, because I know he's just signed a new contract, but I 1,000,000% think Eze will go in the summer. He's got so many big clubs after him. United are up there. I mean, it would be a dream to get him. I don't think we will, but I don't think he'll stay. So they need to do some serious replacement work in summer, especially if Eze goes. So yeah, it's a good thing that the fans are putting pressure on them, but you can't help but feel for them a little bit.
I mean, and Adam's saying in the chat, honest opinion, he thinks that they're going to stay up. Everton, albeit the possible point deduction, they will be safe. He thinks as well. And I sort of, I mean, Sam said as well, clubs are sniffing around. I can never say the last name. Michael Elise.
Yeah.
And that's the thing they managed. I think because they're in a good catchment area in London, they do pull in some good players, but I don't know, something needs to happen there. I mean, I don't think they were being badly run. When I think of Palace, you don't think of like financial problems and they're really bad. They're just this nice little club plodding along, but they're struggling. It's sad to see. But there was a lot of Luton love. Heather was saying Luton is a tough team, and Rob.
What did I say at the start of the season? Rob Edwards is the man, and I'm not even saying it. Like I saw all those quote tweets of Rob Edwards' interview, and I've said from when he came up, I just love Rob Edwards. And it's not, don't get me wrong, great looking chap, but I just think he's such a genuine human being. And when obviously Tom Lockyer and everything happened, and he's so protective of all his players as well. And yeah, I like Luton. I do like Luton, and I think people are starting to realise with Luton as well that they are very tough to beat the way they set up, and that's why in my predictions I had them to stay up.
Yeah, and they seem to be picking up quite nicely at the moment, performing well. Adam sends a fellow podcast himself and the team as an unfortunate Sunderland fans. They don't like Luton. But they get a lot of love. Jen in the chat as well. Jen, thank you for joining us. First time I've seen a comment for Jen, so thank you for dropping in the chat. Bob is a great manager and a great person. Would love them to stay up. And Richard is also saying Luton quickly becoming a second favourite team for the way they operate. I like a club that operates well. They've got a nice plan. They know what they're doing. They're spending responsibly. They're managing
setting
their
up
assets
for the future as well, aren't they? They are setting up for the future if they was to get relegated again, which I do really like.
Yeah, and I'm a big advocate of responsible management of a team, and I do quite like that. I'm just having a look at Rob Edwards, nationality English Welsh. I can have a nationality English Welsh. Apparently, he's born in England. You've just gone
for a look, haven't you? You've gone for a cheeky look at his pictures.
I did. And I thought, he looks good. He must be Welsh. There's nothing else for it. But he did. He represented Wales. So, yeah. So, I know also, like Rob Edwards, and go Luton. I remember Simon saying they beat us in the playoffs, so I hope they stay up. A very different view from a lot of Coventry fans. I was hurt by it, but we'll take it. Hopefully Luton will stay up. But a team in the relegation battle, Sheffield United 2, West Ham 2. Oh my days, what a game. Charlotte, how did that one make you feel?
Well, I've actually got some notes because there was that much that went on. So I will be reading these notes because it was just a mental game. So obviously Sheffield United have signed a new player. I think it's called, is it Breton Diaz? Breton Diaz, I'm sure his name is.
Ben.
I think I pronounced that one right. Yeah, Ben, we'll call him. So obviously he made his home debut for the home side. He made his home debut for obviously Sheffield United. But West Ham did take the lead when Cornet, a blast from the past, he was at Burnley, wasn't he? Scored in the 28th minute. And I actually forgot that he was still there because I've not seen much of him. When he scored, I was like, oh my God, that's him. I've not seen him for ages. Last time I saw him, he scored against Rochdale in the cup. But yeah, so obviously they took the lead in the 28th minute, and then new signing, Ben, we'll call him this time, equalised just before half time. So obviously it was really good for their new signing to score on his home debut. Obviously all the fans were happy. And then it was very interesting in the second half. So both teams did have chances, but they just couldn't score. And that was until Danny Ings, he was brought down in the box by Gustavo Eimer, who, in my opinion, should have had a second yellow card, because I feel like when they bring a player down in the box, they obviously make the foul, they get given a penalty. It should be a second yellow, and more often than not, it is a second yellow. But the referee didn't agree. But he did give the penalty. And then obviously, if you want someone to take a penalty and score it, the man, the myth, the legend, James Ward-Prowse steps up. I mean, what a guy. What a guy for his set pieces and shock. They scored and they went 2-1 up. And then Sheffield United were also given a penalty, which I personally didn't think was a penalty. I don't know if any of you have seen it. But Fabianski came out for the ball like any other goalkeeper would do. McBurney and Areola clashed, and I've actually watched this a few times back because I was just a bit like, what? Why has this penalty been given? And it actually turns out McBurney elbowed. I don't think it was intentionally, to be fair to him, but McBurney actually elbowed Areola, and I thought it would have been given the other way, the foul, because I was just like, what? I was really confused, and people have argued with me and said it was a penalty, but I personally do not think it was a penalty in the slightest. But it was given, and then Ollie McBurney obviously converted it 2-2. Yeah, both teams did end the game with 10 men. I don't know if any of you saw the challenge that Brewster did. I think it was just
dirty.
It was awful, and a potential ankle breaker. And do you know what the worst thing was about this? They actually gave it, the linesman and the referee, as a yellow card, and VAR had to intervene and give it as a red. And I just think it was disgusting, because if that was a challenge on any other player and stuff as well, like our own players in our team, even if it was, you'd be like, no, that's a definite red, because it was that brutal and it could have potentially broke his leg. And then obviously Kufal was given a red card. It was his second. He had 2 yellow cards. So the first one was actually to do with this incident, and he said to the referee it was a red. So then the referee booked him for that. And to be fair, and I don't think any of the West Ham fans can say any different, I think they agreed as well that the second booking was just stupid. I think he was just a bit hot-headed. He went in and he deserved it, to be fair. But yeah, so they both ended the game with 10 men, but there was a lot of controversial decisions. Obviously, as we mentioned, the penalties. I don't think that was. I personally think as well, West Ham should have had another penalty. I think it was a foul on Jared Bowen. As I mentioned, I think Hamer should have been sent off.
Simon's not liking your Hamer.
I do really like, honestly, I really do like Gustavo Hamer. He's one of my favourite players and was for Coventry. So I've got nothing against him. I just think, obviously, just watching the game and how we always ask for consistency, that it should have been sent off. But just on the West Ham, kind of talk as well, watching that game, they are crying out for a midfielder. And I actually tweeted this yesterday, and I got so much hate off West Ham fans. And I was like, the player they need is Calvin Phillips. They need to drop Souček. As much as he's there and he scores the vital goals, they need 3 midfielders who can control it. And I think Calvin Phillips would be perfect with, I think it's Alvarez, who was obviously missing yesterday as well, and James Ward-Prowse. Because at the minute, I feel like James Ward-Prowse was there to kind of steady the ship in midfield and play CDM, but I think he's been creating more and playing further forward. So I think if Calvin Phillips kind of fitted in that role and played with them too, I think their midfield would be sorted, because just looking at Sheffield Wednesday, they were just running through that midfield. And I do really like Souček, because I think he does turn up and score goals at really convenient times for them. But I just think he really needs that break. And I think Calvin Phillips would be the perfect person to fill that role.
I thought he stopped playing football, though, Calvin Phillips. He went to Man City to retire.
I know.
I thought, because he was never going to play football. just my opinion. I mean, in the chat, Simon's saying Sheffield United ruined Hamer, not Harmer, so they need to go down. We've got Richard saying don't get him started on second yellows. Refs let too much go. Jen's agreeing that they don't want to send off players anymore. Oh, look at that. Richard and Jen having a nice little back and forth. That is lovely. And Jen is saying, they lost one of their best players for 8 weeks. And not even a yellow was given. And he's also saying, do they want Jeff Hendrick? And Sam saying in the chat, so West Ham are really struggling with injuries and AFCON. Paqueta, Alvarez, Kudus. So I keep thinking Kudus. He's missing. Shaw's bang on. You need Alvarez alongside Souček, or he's getting overrun.
Yes.
So I said, it feels like West Ham are always signing midfielders. It does. It does feel like it's almost like Everton at one stage when they signed their 850 attacking midfielders, but not getting it right. I
feel like with West Ham, though, if they got Calvin Phillips there, I think they could be like a very good team. I think they're just missing that missing piece. And I think for Calvin Phillips, he could kind of play that Declan Rice role very well as well. So yeah, I think he would be perfect. But West Ham fans don't agree with me, as I saw on Twitter yesterday. So sorry.
I don't understand what they need. They need a little something. I think Moyes is. I think he's a solid manager. I think he's good. He'll do well with them, and they're not like flush for cash. So a move like that would be quite good. I mean, we'll. Luke's saying in the chat, Calvin Phillips was linked with a loan move to Newcastle, but Newcastle didn't want to play $5 million for a loan. They're hard up for $1 over there at Newcastle. I mean, you mentioned the penalties, so we'll sort of dig into some of them. Where the keeper come out, I think it was it Fotherington that was on at the time, and then oh no, it wasn't. It was Areola got subbed off, wasn't it? That was it. So the keeper come out. I'm sort of. My bizarre thing was I think keepers get too much protection sometimes, but in this game it wasn't one of the ones that you normally see when a keeper comes out and clatters someone. It's just bizarre, wasn't it?
His eye was on the ball as well the whole time.
Yeah,
his eye was on the ball the whole time, and I actually think that wasn't the worst bit about it. I thought obviously the McBurney and
I agree.
Situation was worse. That's why it baffled me. And honestly, I must have watched it 5 or 6 times, and I still thought why? I agree. Thought it was foul the other way.
I completely agree with you. I think that they should be more against keepers given, because keepers do just come out and just smash the living bejesus out of the place. But that wasn't it. That wasn't the one. And then we look at Jared Bowen when he got hugged to the ground. I think it's lovely that the Sheffield United defender obviously likes him that much. Maybe he just thought he wanted his shirt after the game, forgot where they were, and grabbed hold of him. But he wasn't looking at the ball. He held him and fell over. I mean, could you see any reason why that wasn't given? Or we just all agree that was really silly?
Yeah, like I said, I thought that was a definite penalty. Yeah. A definite penalty. And if that was someone from if that was a defender from a Rochdale point of view, obviously, or someone tackling up the other team, I'd be like, no, that's bad. Even if it wasn't my play, if it was my player, dragging a different player down, I'd be like, that's stupid. It's not even any bias towards it. If that was my player, I'd be like, yeah, that's a penalty, 100%.
It's the consistency, isn't it? Because
that's what annoys me.
This you can't help but compare it to other times that it's happened in the league. In the Manchester Derby at Old Trafford, Højlund did similar to Rodri in the box. It wasn't as bad as that, and gave away a penalty. And it's we don't really, not that we don't care what the decision is, but let it be across the board. Anything like that, that's a penalty. If it's a clear and I think they always forget clear and obvious error, that was like you say, literally tackled into the floor. It's stopping a goal scoring opportunity. He probably would have headed that into the goal. So it's like anything, I think, that all football fans do agree on. No matter what you're giving, just make sure you're being consistent in the next games, and it can happen in the game after, or the same weekend. And it's just all the referees have a different idea of what's a penalty and what isn't.
And it's sometimes the same referee in the same game can give. I can't remember. There was a game 2 weeks ago. I can't remember which one it was, but the same incident happened, and he gave the one and didn't give the other. And I think, for me, I understand, and I do get into, believe it or not, I get into Twitter debates with people, and but a lot of the refereeing things, because the referee supporting accounts will say it's hard to get consistency from game to game with different referees, because the moment, the way the game's going, the way the players are. And I get that. You want to have that little bit of playing in the moment, but I think there needs to be that baseline of this is wrong. You can't do this, because otherwise, how can players play within a sort of remit that's acceptable if they don't know what they're going to get sent off for? What are they going to be in for? We've got in the chat. Well, we got in the chat here. Jen saying refs across the board from the Premier League all the way down to the National League are just bad. And it is. It's just weird. It's really weird what's going on.
Can I just add one last bit to obviously the West Ham Sheffield United as well? I feel like, to be fair to Sheffield United, they did deserve something out of that game because I thought they did play very well. I just also think that West Ham did get ripped off of the win just from the obviously refereeing point of view. So I feel like I feel like Sheffield United did deserve a point because I thought they did fight really hard and they battled well. But I just feel like West Ham were ripped off.
Yeah. I agree with Charlotte.
I like that. They got ripped off.
They got ripped off.
Ripped off. Didn't get their money's worth there.
No.
And so if you think Premier League refs are bad, you should see the refs in the Football League. Jeffrey's saying Six Nations, you hear the VAR sort of. We need that in football. Jen saying League 2 refs might be the worst, but she might be biased. And Sam saying bring back oh my God. Hannah, I bet you can say his name. Luigi
Colina.
Yes, it is.
I can't. Well, I should have.
The angry bald ref, the really good bald ref.
He was really good in
of
what
one
a
of the
guy.
FIFA games. He was superb, superb ref. No nonsense, and it is the standard has sort of dropped, just bizarrely. It hurts my heart at how poor it is. Well, we're going to go through all the games, and there's only 4 of the buggers today, so we're going to go through them. The next game was a Brentford 3, Nottingham Forest 2. The return of Tony. Hannah, how did that game make you feel?
I have a lot of thoughts and emotions about this game. I'll be totally honest. So initially, when I know Nottingham Forest scored at like the 3rd minute. I mean, it was a great goal as well. I knew that Ivan Toney would score. I just knew it. Which when he scored, like I tweeted, like I'm really happy for him because at that point I was thinking he's been out for 8-9 months, which is a long time. You know, it's like a season, not a season and a half. The back half of last season, the first half of this season, that's a long time. And I think Brentford have missed him, especially with Bumo out. They really needed that goal scorer back. So great to have him back. I mean, everything that he's kind of been through in regards to we've seen other players that haven't been banned when they've bet. So I think in some regards he was a bit unfairly treated. Whatever you think about that, it's always nice to see players like that. It's like when they come back from injury, come back and immediately hit the ground running. That was great to see. But he moved the ball. And that was really wrong because he moved it to the right, and that's what got him round that wall. Wow. And I just thought, you're not helping yourself there, Ivan Toney. You know, people are making all these jokes about you betting and stuff. And I just wish, looking back, because in the moment I didn't even realize I was at work. So I was trying to work and watch it. But it was just unfortunate that it came from that. And he should have been called out for that. He should have probably got a card for that and be made to retake it. Or maybe he shouldn't have taken that at all after that. I do think that was wrong. It was a great goal. Fantastic round the wall, perfectly curved. And at the time I was like, yeah, you still got the technique. And it was a great technique, but had it been moved to its original spot, I don't think that would have maybe gone in. So it was a really good game. I thought, it was end to end. It's always nice games like that, the West Ham game, through neutral games like that. High scoring, they equalise and then someone gets a winner, great. And I think Brentford really needed that win because they've been in such poor form. But if I was a Forest fan, I would feel slightly aggrieved by that free kick. Yeah, I don't know if anyone agrees with me there, but
I mean, we got Simon doesn't. Simon say in the chat, why are people making so much when they're moving the foam? There's nothing wrong. He believes.
He moved it. He believes.
Yeah, he said because he moved it sideways, it's a distance away. But I disagree. I think it is breaking a rule.
Do you know what I think was more criminal? How badly they set up the wall. Well, honestly, if you watch it, it was terrible. I was watching oh my gosh.
I was a bit old. I mean, it was for me. It was cheating, and I think because if it wasn't cheating, he would have done it when the ref was standing in front of him. So if it was an okay thing to do, when the refs they're placing the ball down, he would have went, hang on, mate, you put the ball there. I'm going to move it all the way. Stuff what you think, referee. I'm going to move it over here because this is where I want to take the free kick from. If it was okay, he would have done it in front of him. If it was okay, he wouldn't have worried about moving the foam because why does it matter where the ball is? He could have taken it over and taken a corner. Why not? As long as I'm keeping that distance. So, but it's because when you move that, you are moving the angle, and it's not that did. It upset my heart a little bit because, like you said, Hannah, it was a great game, and he played really well, Tony, didn't he?
Yeah.
He had a belting game. I thought he was a little bit everywhere.
He did. He played really well. And something that's interesting for me, and again, I held a little bit of a grudge against Forest since they beat us between Christmas and New Year, but I was so annoyed. I don't even know why, because I'm not a Forest fan, and I was gutted when they sacked Steve Cooper. I was like, awful decision. But to be fair, like it might just be a new manager bounce. It might be a bit of a purple patch, but they look so much better under Nuno Espirito Santo. Like I think, like they just look so much more kind of like they just kind of look like they know what they're doing a little bit more. I think under Steve Cooper, they kind of lacked that, that energy, especially like, their attack. Like it just looks like it's been given like the kiss of life. And again, it might just be the first few good games, but you got that win away at Newcastle, beat United, and I don't think obviously had that decision gone another way at the weekend, they could have come out with a point. So they do look much better. As much as I was a big Steve Cooper fan.
I mean, someone's bringing it back. The Forest players were looking at Tony. Why didn't they move? Why didn't they? It was bad. As Charlotte said, it was bad, wasn't it? Setting all of that up.
Do you know what though? I kind of like Richard in the comments. I do kind of agree with him because you see people taking a corner, moving a ball, you throw in where they're running up. So it's only really the same, to be honest. It's still cheating, isn't it? When you put the ball, you should really put it in the corner. You shouldn't put it in front. And when you're taking a throw in, you shouldn't really. I know obviously it's different because it's a goal scoring opportunity. So it is different in that aspect, but it's still all cheating, isn't it?
I mean, and I think because what wound me up a little bit is all the commentary in the game. I've watched like a lot of highlights. I watched on Match of the Day, watched bits of it live, listened, and everyone was going, really smart play, really clever play. And I'm like, but they say the same thing when some players dive. Like Alan Shearer is seems to have the most biased head on of any pundit I've seen in ages at the moment. If he likes you and you dive, brilliant. What a clever striker. That's really good. And if he doesn't, you're cheating. You should be strung up and have your thumbs broken and be kneecapped and all of that jazz.
Just the question, though, for you both. And obviously, I'll probably say the same as well. But if it was one of our players from our team, would we still class that as cheating, that free kick, or would we find it quite clever? Because if that was Tyree Sinclair doing it for Rochdale, I'd be like, do you know what? Fair play. That was quite clever, that. So as much as we're calling it cheating now, if it was like Bruno or if it was
do you know what I was about to say?
Trent, would you be like, actually, that's quite smart, that?
I was gonna say, I mean, I'll let you go first, Hannah, because you got Bruno. He's up to that all the time. Do you love it?
Oh no, I didn't mean it like that. I didn't mean it like that. I meant like I didn't honestly. I like Bruno. I'm a Bruno advocate. I love Bruno Fernandes. I think he's actually underrated.
Josh on one, ignore it. No, I totally get what you mean, Char. Like it's one of them, and I think whenever it's kind of like Nottingham Forest fans were going to be really annoyed by that. Brentford fans would have been like, that's so clever. I think obviously you can't help, even if you're a fan of football, you can't help but like be in favour for your team slightly. Yeah, I agree with you on that point. At the end of the day, like I'm not taking away from, like I said before, I'm not taking away from the technique because it was incredible. So I was like, oh my God, he's not.
You could tell he's been practicing it.
Yeah,
it's the fact he's come back from cheating, hasn't it? And then cheating straight away. That's the worst thing,
That's the thing that I sort of struggle with. Because like for me, I've got to be honest, if it was Trent, it would just dirty it a little bit. It would just feel a little bit dirty. Because I've got to be honest, and I don't know whether it's because I'm getting older or doing this podcast because I've drawn a line so hard for myself that I do know if they don't do something that's right, if somebody dives, I've got a bit of an issue with it. If there's contact, for example, if you go down, there's contact and that's fine. If there isn't an outright dive, I don't like, and I'd feel a little bit dirty. And like I said, it just took the shine, like you said, because he just come back from a ban for breaking rules, and the first thing he does is break rules. And then, but the thing that sort of made me sad a little bit is after the game, he went, "Nah, it's all right, innit? What's anyone complaining about? They're complaining about you cheating, breaking rules, doing things." I mean, if I went into a sweet shop and I went, "Hey mate, look at that over there," slipped my hand behind the counter and took some money, went, "That was clever, wasn't it? That's smart." He didn't see that one coming. That would be illegal. So that's not right. And it's the same principle because the rules are the rules are the rules. And from a moral perspective, you've got to sort of accept that. But wasn't it a wonderful game? I mean, Charlotte, did you catch any of that? Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, to be fair, I didn't catch all of it, but I have watched the highlights and stuff. And as Hannah said, I think Nottingham Forest are really playing well, to be fair to them. And I think they were quite unlucky because they did have the chances as well. But yeah, I think it was just quite an even game as well. It was quite, as a neutral, it was really end to end and really good to watch. Both teams had chances. I think they did, to be fair, need that win, Brentford, because they were struggling. But I think it was always going to be Ivan Toney, and it was always going to be the Brentford win. Like, it was made captain, the whole Undertaker entrance. I mean, wow. Fair enough. I think Brentford needed that to happen, because how embarrassing would it have been if it went to all this fuss and it got sent off or something in the first 10 minutes. They needed it, I think.
Yeah, and it made a difference for him. I mean, the whole style of play was completely different, and he was good. He was really, really good. And I enjoyed let's build up this massive thing. And I think I think I've seen both of you, to be fair, on Twitter. By the way, we'll give you our handles to follow on Twitter later for anybody who watching it, because as you can tell, we do stuff on Twitter. And I think we saw somebody was saying about him cheating, being sent off for cheating, coming back for cheating, while people praising it, and you sort of defending the fact that it's what he's been. From what he said, it's an addiction that he's got. So it's not like he's been cheating and breaking rules. It's something that he's struggled with and coming back. But the fact that he's coming back, having to wear a shirt that says Hollywood bet on it, to a league with lots of betting sponsors, with betting stuff all across the board. And that's sort of from a moral perspective, I'm imagining we're all on the same viewpoint. That's not very sensible, is it?
No. A lot more needs to be done to protect these kind of players as well, because I've experienced it from like the other side, where I'm not going to get too personal or anything, but I was with someone who had a gambling addiction, and at the end of the day, it is an illness. And as much as people are like, "Oh, it's stupid putting money in," and blah blah blah, it is an addiction. And I just think, like any other illness or any mental health issue, it does need to be like, these players do need more protection. Not just players, just as a whole in general, like just society, because wherever you look, there's adverts on things, and there's like billboards with stuff on. They're obviously advertising free bets, and obviously once you get that free bet, and then if you do win some money, it's more and more and more. And there is people out there who can have a bet, and then obviously they know the limit, but there's also other people out there who don't. And yeah, I just think these people do need protecting. And yeah, definitely. I don't want to get too into it as well, but from a WSL point of view, the Championship, there's a team called Lewis in that, and I watched a documentary on Lewis, and just their morals. If no one's seen it, please watch it, because just their morals and everything is just so spot on, and they don't have anything to do with gambling or betting anywhere in the ground and things like that. And honestly, I do think people need protecting, because it's a cruel world. It is.
Well, and it's not as if there's not enough money in football. You know, that teams can be selective over the partners that they have, and I think there needs to be a bit more social responsibility. And Jeffrey's saying, "Well done, Charlotte," and Luke's saying, "Get talking if you do have a gambling addiction. Don't suffer in silence." And the same with any issues. Speaking about it is always the best step. And this Luke saying Sandro Tonali had a gambling addiction, and that's what he's got on the ban for. And Simon said that's one of the reasons the Coventry owner won't have a betting sponsor on the front of the shirt.
I love that. Love that.
And Richard's also saying he saw in the touchline ads for about 6 different betting companies, and it's true. It's not like we got to do more to support people, and just it just didn't make sense to me. I just thought the whole thing was farcical. How a body can, on one hand, give, on one hand, take away. You know, this is okay. We can advertise this and promote people to do this, but if you do all of this and get sucked into it, it's not good. It's not. We should be supporting people across the board. And while we're talking on social values as well, I mean, I know Charlotte's going to touch on this in the lower league, but of course there was another, for reasons we don't understand, a racist incident in the Coventry Sheffield Wednesday game. I believe I forget the player's full name, Casey something, isn't it, Charlotte?
Is it Casey Palmer?
That sounds about right.
Sure, it's Casey Palmer.
Yeah. And it's again, Mark Robbins. I mean, for people who didn't see it, basically, I think he played a fabulous game, played really well, and received racist abuse from a certain particular group in the stadium. And it's just, Mark Robbins summed it up brilliant for me. He said, first of all, people need to grow up.
Yeah.
and it's true. It's mindless. It's ridiculous. Do you know what? You can call someone a dickhead if you think they're being a dickhead. That's fine. Their race, their background, their ethnicity, their gender, their sexual orientation, that is who they are. You shouldn't be using who people are as a weaponizing them, beating them with that stick. If someone's being silly, you can call them out for being silly, but it's just petty, it's uneducated. And I don't know what you think your thoughts are on it, but my thing is, I notice if people get caught, they get a stadium ban for a period of time. What I don't understand is, why don't they get a lifetime ban from all stadiums? Because as much as you can say people can learn and they can change, there needs to be that deterrent. At the moment, there's not that deterrent there, but the fact that it still exists. And I don't think necessarily punishing the team necessarily makes a big impact, because these people are idiots. They're not going to care because they're stupid people. Again, I know you'll get into it in the lower league show, Shah, but before we move on, what were your thoughts?
I just feel like no matter what, if you've had a drink, if you've done whatever, if you're going through things in life, nothing should stem you to do that to a person and mock them because of a colour. Like, even if you're going through the worst time of your life, or if you've had ridiculous amounts of alcohol, nothing should actually stem you to do that to somebody. And I don't think when someone's racist like that, I don't think it's a mistake. I don't think that's a mistake. I think that just shows what kind of human being you are, to be honest. And
it's there, isn't it?
It's there.
It's in you. I mean, when I get worked up and agitated, I want to eat food because I really like it. It brings me great joy, and that's what's inside me.
Another thing I don't understand about it is it never makes it okay, but by doing that, you're also discriminating against your own players
Exactly.
in the same league. Like Sheffield Wednesday have black players. You're not just doing it to that player, which is abhorrent, but you're doing it to every single human being, every single footballer. It's not just to that person. It's sending a message to, oh well, my own fans are doing that to me. And I play, and they're supposed to be championing me along, and I'm getting that instead. So it's to everyone. It's not just to that player. So yeah, lifetime ban, I agree, but they're just far too lenient. You see people, I saw someone on Twitter that was being racist on Twitter, and he got Newcastle emailed him oh, you've got a 2-year stadium ban, and he was laughing oh, see you in 2 years. And it's what, you need to throw the book at them, because then it stops the same thing happening again. It shouldn't. It's 2024. Why you're I'm insulting someone over their skin color is an insult. It's ridiculous, but that's racist.
And the FA can interject. I mean, it doesn't need to be Newcastle United saying you're banned from our stadium for 2 years. The FA should tell all the clubs they've got an obligation, once they identify that person, to let the FA know, and they're banned, period, from all of it, because I think, like I said, it's 2024. We're at the stage now where that's not acceptable. It's just not. The education is there. There's been enough awareness for enough of a period of time where it's not acceptable anymore. I mean, we've got a lot in the chat. Simon was saying he was there. He didn't have any idea what was going on, and Mr. Luke saying it was utterly disgraceful that the fan behaved like that in front of him. I hope he gets a life ban from the club. It doesn't represent the club, and that's another point. It's not the club. It is, and it tars a club then, though, with that. I mean, I don't know if you're like me. You think there was an incident again in Serie A where the AC Milan keeper was racially abused, and what I thought was wonderful is the whole team in solidarity came off the pitch together. But yeah, and I mean, I don't know if you're like me. I think if you mention Italian football, you think, rightly or wrongly, automatically there has that sort of racist undercurrent, because the thing with Victor Osimhen at Napoli, and that this is going on, and that happens to clubs then, and that is just.
They did it with Balotelli, and he was their own international player, and they still did it to him.
It's a joke, isn't it? The only good thing about that game was they beat them 3-2, last minute winner, and I was like, good. I hope their fans absolutely choke on that, like, good. And it was actually really nice to see them all walk out together, because obviously, usually, like, if it happens in the Premier League, you know, a few of them are like shouting at the fans, which handle it however you think to handle it. I mean, we're not in their position, we can't say, but the fact that as a team they walked out, I think that was like, it was great to see that the solidarity.
And what I like is making a bit of a mockery of that 3-step rule. It needs to be 3 things, and then you can all walk off. Just if it's happening, it's wrong. It shouldn't be happening. Just walk off. Yeah. I mean, Jen saying this definitely needs to be done. A ban for a year isn't enough, and that is true. Simon said a lot of Wednesday fans have called the bloke out and want to see him banned for life. Simon saying also there was some defending it by saying Case was winding them up, but no one deserves that. It's true. It's irrelevant. Like I said, if someone's winding you up, you can say you're a whatever. Exactly. Stop winding me up. You don't. It doesn't need to become. It doesn't need to be racist. It doesn't have to get
personal like that.
Yeah.
Just say a swear word to them.
It's football. Everyone's like a bit of a shit house at some point. Like, it happens.
Exactly.
Like that's the passion inside you. But like you say, you don't go for, I'm going to go for their skin color to try and insult them. Like, that's just, it's not a thing. It shouldn't be a thing. So I agree with you.
And Adelaide's agreeing with the point that you made earlier, Hannah, that it's just it's mocking everybody, and so it has zero place. So this is in conclusion. I think I saw Sean saying up here, Claire's favourite phrase, hashtag don't be a dick. And that's where we're going to sit on that as we move on. Don't be a dick. But I think we can move on now to the finest game of the weekend, the one that I know you've all been waiting for. Heather has been sitting here patiently thinking, when are we going to cover this fabulous game that I believe she was in attendance to? Before I get there, by the way, I did see a comment I've just remembered. Where was it? Oh, I've missed. There it is. Just for you, Hannah, there's only one true Bruno, and he plays in black and white. Oh. But of course,
how long's he been playing at your club and playing well? Like, I don't know, but anyway.
but Heather knows the game we're talking about. Bournemouth 0, Liverpool 4. I mean, who wants to bask in the adulation of a wonderful game of football?
We'll let you.
Go on, Josh, fill your boots.
Yeah, we're not doing it. Sorry.
I'm a United fan. I'm not going to be like, yay.
Do you know, it's the one thing, it's the only thing I struggle with when I'm hosting, is that it's really difficult. I can't ask myself questions. It does become a bit difficult. But how did that game make me feel? As every Liverpool game does, horrible in the first half, really unnerved. I was waiting for us to go a goal behind, because that's our thing. That's what we do at Liverpool. We have a dodgy first half and concede, then we come up. I mean, the good things for me, that there's good and bad things. That the bad thing is always we start so slow. I mean, Bournemouth have been playing well, and they've been playing well in the league. They've been playing really organised, and they were good in that first half, which was a little bit unnerving that we seem to need that little G up. But the really, really nice thing was we were missing who? We had Trent out. We had Andy Robertson is still out. We've got Tsimikas out as well. We didn't have Szoboszlai. We didn't have any of that. Basically, only one of our new signings in. but we still managed to turn that on in the second half. And also, Connor Bradley, how lovely is that? One of our young kids coming in, getting an assist as well. I think it paints a picture of what I love about Liverpool and the way that Klopp's managed it is we've got that lovely balance of the fact that he's bringing through young players. Because I think there was a young player he subbed on towards the end. Who is it? I think we brought Cade Gordon, Owen Beck, and Bobby Clark on. How lovely is that? That's really lovely that we could. I mean, granted, we didn't have a lot of options on the bench because we've got no team at the moment because they're all away doing stuff. But it was really good, really lovely to see. It was lovely to see Nunez scoring 2 goals because bless him, he's like the little engine that could. He just runs and he runs and he tries. And I think I did listen to somebody talking about him yesterday evening. And said about, how many shots he takes and how his conversion rate. But first player in the league to get to 10 goals and 10 assists. And he's in that area to create it. And he's still young and being developed. And then lastly, Jota. What a player. What a lovely player, Jota. So composed. And he's like, he plays the game at a different pace to everybody else. And my favorite bit is I don't know if you saw the game or any highlights when the ball came in and he miskicked it and all the fans went, "Hey!" And then he just composed himself and banged it in the bottom of the corner of the net. Epic. That was just absolutely epic. It was just superb. That tickled me. But we've got Graham. Graham has joined us in the chat. He's saying good evening, beautiful people. And Ali just apologized. He missed me on Saturday. He was in Newport, which is the localist team to me, and as he got to see the mighty county beat Wrexham 1-0. And Heather's saying they were also missing our key players, and your sub was Gakpo and ours was Kiefer Moore. What's wrong with Kiefer Moore? What is wrong with Kiefer Moore? The man is a hero. He's an absolute hero. He's a beast, and I do enjoy him. But I mean, Charlotte, touching on Bournemouth, they played well, didn't they?
They're a very good team, Bournemouth, and I don't think they get the credit that they deserve. I think this season, under their new manager, I know obviously at the start it took them time, but they're a really good attacking side, Bournemouth, and they've got some really good players. I mean, Solanke as well. I think he's absolutely fantastic this season. But I think to be fair to Bournemouth, they've had a really good run of form. They've played some really good stuff, but I think Liverpool are obviously stronger, more clinical on a day. And at the end of the day, it is Liverpool. They are top of the league for a reason, aren't they? I don't want to give you too much credit, but they are, aren't they? So as much as it probably is like gutting for Heather because it was a 5-0 loss, at the end of the day, it was 5-0, wasn't it?
4-0.
4-0, sorry.
Don't make
it was
it
Arsenal 5-0. Sorry, Heather. But at the end of the day, it was a good team they were playing against. So I think Bournemouth just need to just say, yeah, it is what it is, and then move on to the next because they have been playing really well. And I think Bournemouth will have a very good season. I don't think they're under any pressure for relegation or anything. I think they're just having a good season.
I mean, I tell you what confused me. I mean, it was lovely to see Solanke being bossed by some proper defenders. That was lovely to see. But Sinistera had a really good game. And then he got taken off in like the 50-something minute. I mean, Hannah, I don't know if you caught that. Did that make any sense? I've been told it's one of those planned substitutions, but that wasn't right, surely.
It didn't make any sense to me considering how well they contained Liverpool's attack in the first half. If I was Bournemouth, obviously Klopp switched it up and that's what changed the game. But if I was Bournemouth, I'd have stayed pretty much the same, unless, they have to make substitutions with fatigue or injury. But honestly, there was like 2 things that mainly annoyed me about that game as a United fan. Number 1, just how clutch and annoying Jota is. Need a goal, bring him on, he'll bag. 2, I was like, when
he is good.
Heavy off. And also, it makes our 3-0 loss to Bournemouth at Old Trafford look even worse. So, yeah, anytime Liverpool win, I'm not happy about it. But, you are an absolute force to be reckoned with at the moment. And it is nice to see another team at the top rather than Manchester City. So I'm not going to complain about that too much. But yeah, need a goal, bring on Diogo Jota. Like, what a player. He's just like so clutch. And it must be great to have, a person that comes on, you think, yeah, we're going to win this easy. He's going to score, and he does, and he always does it when you need it. Which with Liverpool, you know, you go behind, or I know they weren't behind, but like sometimes you need goals, like you need a winner, or you go behind, and you always like you were 2-0 down the other game, and I was like, they won 3-2, and you did, and it's just like, wow, we're used to it.
It is. I don't understand it. I don't understand why we always start slow and go a goal behind it. It drives me mad. I mean, Heather's saying as well, taking James Hill off was a bit barney. It was just strange a little bit. But the thing that did grind my gears a little bit, we spoke about consistency. I don't know if you remember a little game at the start of the season when Liverpool played Spurs and all sorts of mental stuff happened there. But Curtis Jones got sent off for a foul that wasn't as bad as one that Justin Kluivert produced on Diaz. What the chaff? Am I alone in this, Shah? Am I alone to be upset about that?
I'm going to be honest, I didn't actually see it.
Do you know what? Hannah, did you see that? So vindicate me.
I think I know what you're talking about. And as much as it pains me, again, it is you kind of robbed that. And again, it's just the consistency. Like, where is it? Where is it? And that's the issue, I think, with so many of these. Like, you know, like I said before, if we didn't have other games to compare it to, like other teams, and you know, had they been given the penalty and you haven't, like or a goals dislike, whatever it is, it just stings that much more. Whereas, you know, if it's like, okay, well, we didn't get it, but neither did, you know, those last 5 teams it happened to. It's just that's the bit that and a lot of it now, which isn't good, is just luck on the day. Genuinely depends which referee you've got, who you've got on VAR, what the weather is, and that'll determine whether you get it or not.
I think it was Paul Tierney was I think he was in VAR, which says it all. I mean, Heather saying Kluivert did get lucky, which is most unusual for Bournemouth. Jeffrey said the simple bit. I mean, when you talk about consistency, do you know what's easy? If somebody's half an hour late into a challenge and stamps on the other person's leg, that's a red. That's easy. I can maintain that quite consistently. And it was very bizarre, but it was a lovely game. It was lovely to see Conor Bradley making a start and playing well. And Joe Gomez up the left. I'm loving the season Joe Gomez is having as well, which is just super. He's like, I don't know what it is. I just want him to come good. He's just so lovely. And Sam said it's more like in the bar than VAR. And the only consistency with that is the inconsistency. What is it? The only thing there's like from Messi and Sting, the only thing you can be sure of is you can't be sure of anything at all. But that does bring us to that covers all of the games, and it's been quite lovely in the league recently that we could do all of the games in 1 week.
It looks like as well Brighton and Wolves is going to finish 0-0. It's 90+1 and no one scored. So unless Big Craig Dawson gets a winner.
And you know, I tell you what we missed here as well is Graham is glad he got from work in time to hear Shah pronounce Liverpool.
I know.
I mean, we got Charlotte and Hannah.
Sorry.
We're both Charlotte and Hannah, the two best accents to hear people say Liverpool in. So I think you both need to say it.
I feel like I mean, I'm sure I do, but I feel like I don't have an accent. So like mine isn't as good as Shah's, you know what I mean? Like she does say it good. I do get what Graham means.
Good. Just for Graham. Give him another Liverpool, Shah.
Liverpool.
Liverpool.
I proper pronounce my O's. I emphasize it. It's like when I say Google, I go Google.
I go, oh nah.
Oh, that was funny. You know, the keeper, you like your keeper. I say it like the song, so I go, oh nah. Oh nah. I can't help it.
No, I get that. I understand
that. It's a thing of beauty. That is why people keep coming back for more. But that does lead us to the Premier League table, which I'll get rid of this little Hoojama What's It up in the corner there. And of course, look, all of those games, it's been a joy being able to have so few games to cover. But it leaves Liverpool at the top on 48 points. But Man City second on 43 with a game in hand. I can't remember. Who were Man City playing? Can anyone remember? Because that'll be...
that game in hand's Brentford. which will be
Ivan
interesting.
Toney. He did it before. Is it not what he got banned for? Was it not why he got banned? Because he bet on himself to score against Manchester City.
Oh, did he? I didn't know.
I'm sure he
That
did.
is ironic.
And do you know what? The last goal he scored before he got his ban was a free
Wasn't
kick
it?
against Nottingham Forest.
Mhm.
And the first goal he scored when he came back.
For Mr. Ivan Toney.
And Sam say the chat Istapan FPL clean sheet Estupendos. I cannot remember if I'm even doing FPL anymore.
I've not done mine for ages, honestly.
I think October was the last time I touched mine. I've probably got like 750 free subs if they allowed you to build it up. But yes, so Man City second. I think that they've got Burnley coming up as well, who haven't played, who are probably going down. But as you can see at the top, so Man City in second place on 43 points, joint with Arsenal on 43 points. As you can see by the green at the end of them, Reds have started to turn their form around allegedly. But they've got the game in hand, and Aston Villa are in fourth place. Aston Villa's Charlotte's dark horse to finish high up in the league in fourth position. She's having a stormer so far in her predictions. Tottenham Hotspur are in fifth place on 40 points. And then there's a bit of a gap then to West Ham in sixth. Should we continue going down the league? We might as well, because in seventh place of Manchester United on 32
now
points.
with that Brighton draw, because they're going to go above us on goal difference. So
yeah. I'm -5 goal difference. That's dirty, but it could be worse. It could be Chelsea in ninth position on 31 points, who are one behind you. And at the bottom is Sheffield United on 10 points, who I think we're all pretty happy in saying that they're probably going down. Burnley on 19th on 12 points. Luton on 16 with a game in hand on Everton, who's got 17 points. Forest on 20, Palace on 21, and Brentford on 22, but likely to go storming up. Sam is saying United unbeaten in 2024.
That is so true. And it's the 22nd of January.
And Jen saying Luton to stay up. Alex is saying who hopes Luton stays up. Charlotte is also hoping Luton stay up. I mean, before we go on to the next league, we'll very quickly touch on Hannah. Manchester United have a new CEO that you've poached from Man City's previous, I think, CFFO. I know their group. He was their group operations officer, I think. How does that one make you feel?
I was just, so the news broke on Saturday night, and there was not even, because everyone knows, like, love them or hate them, everyone reports every single little tiny whisper about Manchester United. So it broke, and when everyone was like, what? Like, is Jim Ratcliffe efficient? Which, to be fair, so far so good. It seems like he could be the efficient guy to come in. I mean, don't get me wrong, like, when the deal closed, I think it was the day before Christmas or something, they announced it. We were all gutted. Like, let's be honest. We thought City, Newcastle, you can't beat them, which we obviously can't. Join them. We want that Saudi money. But to be fair, this looks good for us. This is a really, really good appointment. And you know it's good when City fans are absolutely going into complete meltdown. Oh, he's a rat. He's a traitor. But they're all going, actually, that's how have United got him. Like, the United pull, no matter how bad we are, is still a thing. And as a big fan of them, that's always nice to see, because no matter how rubbish we've been, and we've been rubbish for many years, to get a new CEO like that, we've had Ed Woodward, we've had all the crap ones that have screwed us over, and they've given people 370 grand a week, and they've been rubbish, and they've flopped, and we've overspent. Like, it seems like we're just going to get people in that actually want us to be a success and want us to work. So I'm really happy. I mean, everyone's saying, oh, well, you know, when City get done for their charges, hey, I'd take him even if he had to leave United, I would take that if it means City are going to get nailed for their 115 charges. Because just going on to that, I mean, Everton and Forest fans, I bet they're fuming. But all in all for us, I mean, great. And I think we want Dan Ashworth from Newcastle. And apparently that's quite warm. So yeah, Jean-Claude Blanc, I don't know much about him, but it's just such a big upgrade from us, from, you know, Ed Woodward, Richard Arnold, like, they were all crap. And this is just, I feel like Jim Ratcliffe has done more in 3 weeks than Joel and Avram Glazer have done in all the time they've been at United. So I know it's early days, but it's exciting. And apparently they've just hired, we heard this today, they've hired the guy that designed that amazing Leicester City training ground, which opened in 2021. So everyone knows Carrington is a bit of a shit tip. So it will be really exciting if, you know, we can just start making those changes that we've been crying out for years. Next thing after getting rid of all of our dead wood, I hope, is the stadium. So yeah, it's just an exciting, this for us is a big deal, like compared to what we've had for at least the last decade. So it's I don't want to speak too soon, but I feel like we have a cause to be quite positive, especially when City fans are gutted that he's gone. Well, that's a great sign.
I mean, you've got in the chat as well, Richard saying Ratcliffe and Brailsford are efficient. I'll do anything they can to build a backroom and staff and succeed. And if you just look at the success of British cycling, but please hands off Ashworth. I mean, were you going to say something, Shah?
Something as well. I think this shows as well, and as much as Manchester City at the minute are winning everything, they've got the money, but Manchester United, and this is coming from a neutral, Manchester United will always be the bigger club. And I'm just saying it because obviously it's true, isn't it, though? Because they're winning these. Don't get me wrong, they play good stuff. They've got Pep Guardiola, they've got Haaland, they play some really good football, but they will never be Manchester United, will they? They are the bigger club. And from him to go there, and it might be because they're getting done for the charges. It might also be because maybe Manchester City, they are innocent. Who knows? We will not know yet. But it just shows that he has gone from Manchester City to Manchester United when Manchester United are in this state. So they are the bigger club. I'm sorry.
I mean,
they're like a true queen.
Exactly, and that's coming from a Rochdale fan.
I mean, I'll give some dues as well. What people need to remember is, despite how poorly the Glazers have ran United, because it's been atrocious, the way that they ran Manchester United is quite shameful. They still produce the biggest revenue of any team in the world. They're the biggest revenue producing team in the world, and if you've got somebody sensible running that business, you don't need Saudi money because you've got that revenue stream coming in already. And if FFP is going to be changing from debt management levels to percentage of revenue, that is a massive boost for a well-run Manchester United squad, because despite not being in the Champions League, all those seasons you have, finishing outside, not winning the title for X amount of time, they've still got that massive revenue. So if you can then spend that level with a person with a brain that gives a crap about the squad, I hate to say it, that it's not going to be immediate. No. 2 or 3 years, that worm will turn. It could be quite a dangerous Man United.
We need this ruthlessness. Like, I've read in an interview today that apparently Omar has this like philosophy that you stay for 1 or 2 years, and if you're not performing, you're out. That is music to my ears when we've got players like Anthony. Like, great, get him out. Like, we spent 80 million on him. Like, never again. Like, all these clubs are going to be like going bankrupt because we're not going to be bankrolling them with this stupid money. And as a fan, and I don't want sympathy at all because I know they've spent, but you know, in our position, when you see that, you know, you look at Anthony's stats and you saw the price that we paid for him and his salary a week, it's like Jadon Sancho, £350,000 a week for what? And we're still paying that, and he's at Dortmund. So all of these, all like the rot that's in the club, if that can even a little bit can come out, like it's going to make a massive difference. And it will be nice, like Josh says, if we can get this success. And you know, because I am the first person to say like City are plastic, they come from oil money, which is true. And I would be, you know, if it would be a temporary excitement for United fans had we got, you know, Qatar and they brought us to success, but then people would turn around and go, well, you've bought your trophies, you've cheated. And I'd rather wait 2, 3, 4, 5 years and do it the proper way than, you know, what City have done, because I know I'm a United fan, but if they do get, you know, done for these charges, it's an absolute disgrace and all those trophies will mean nothing. So I'd rather do it slowly but surely. And if it means eventually getting the Glazers out, great. But even 25%, that's more than we had this time a month ago. So I have to be happy for the week that we've had in that regard, because we've had bad news for so long. It's nice to get some good.
And I don't like United having good news, but I've got to put credit where credit's due, and nobody can say that I'm not integral on that line. It's with his due. I'll give it with his due. With his not, by God, you're having it. At least I've got that. That's why I feel safe. So I'm saying if City get forced relegation, we should have an absolute party.
We'll be playing them. Woo! National League.
Yeah, it'll be a completely different team. They'll all be told off, won't they? It'll be so funny because all of their fans will disappear.
Well, it's that revenue. It's the revenue stream which you need that sustained period for sustained period of time to build that up. And I mean, you look at the fact that Liverpool turn in a profit because of good management. And our revenue streams have increased. It has allowed us to do that. If you have good management of United, the stupid amount of money that they bring in from sponsorship deals that I think, Richard's saying that they're bigger than everybody else's. It's frightening, frightening. And if they get relegated, will the owners leave? I don't think they'll know what relegation means. I don't think
I can teach them. I'm used to that.
It's probably I don't think they watch games. I think they just know that their money goes somewhere. And Simon's saying, "Don't worry, if someone's had to put up with Sisu for 10+ years, I'll never have sympathy for United fans." That is true. Hopefully,
I'll tell you what, though, if they do get relegated, they'll get similar crowds to what us fans do, because we don't have many fans anyway, do we? So that won't be a difference. All the empty seats.
Do you know what? We're gonna have the Man City fans giving us absolute aggro. So Sam's gonna clip all of this and put it down. It's just gonna be nothing.
Yeah, they've just won 5 trophies. I'm sure they'll be fine. And those 5 trophies probably mean nothing, but let's see.
Well, I mean, Alan's saying don't their fans will leave. They maintain 30k in League One, and I imagine so. That they'll have the fans that they've had, and they'll maintain that. But do
you know what though? I would actually feel sorry for the fans in that aspect, because I'd think to myself, like, they've gone from, obviously they've suffered in the past, to obviously having that glory. They're obviously nothing to do with it, to then seeing like your highest moments, and then basically
it's always
they've been ripped off again.
Yeah, that's my big thing is that you can't blame the fans. I mean, if your team's got success, who's not going to celebrate that success? I mean, I think I don't know if you recall when Liverpool were rumoured to be taken over by that. I did say I would feel really torn and conflicted over it, but they can't help. Same as Newcastle fans, they can't help who owns your club. You have unless you're in Germany where they've got that 49-51 ownership rule. You can't influence. It is what it is. People are going to support their club, and ultimately, City fans they're gonna be enjoying it at the moment, and you don't want anything negative to happen for their sake. But
the fans
be
that
gracious winners.
The fans I feel sorry for are the ones who have obviously followed them when they were at Main Road, and obviously seen them when they was in the lower leagues, and then they finally got to see it. They're the ones I feel sorry for, not necessarily the ones who maybe supported another team and have jumped on the bandwagon, them glory hunters, but your actual fans who have kind of endured the pain and been through it all. They are the ones I feel sorry for. And my uncle's a City fan, and he's watched them through thick and thin and stuff. So he's like the one I would feel more sorry for, because he's been there through it all.
Yeah, I mean, and Luke said he could teach you about a club going under financial troubles if you want. And Simon said there'll be fans who jumped on the bandwagon so they come into money. That is true. Yeah. And that means you have to feel sorry for the Gallaghers. But we've also got a special request. Jeffrey James's son Michael is a Spurs fan. Can he get a thumbs up?
I
love Big Ange.
I love Spurs, really. They're a good team. It's nice to see Spurs doing well, because the fans have been like so mid-table for so long. I just want them to win a trophy, like, for their sake.
I don't know.
What are they in the FA Cup? No, I don't want them to win the FA Cup because we're still in that. But maybe Carabao Cup next year.
I mean, if Liverpool are going to keep up a title run, I'm happy for us to go out of all cups. But you won't find me thinking Liverpool are in for any trophy until we've won it.
You're going to win the Carabao Cup 1,000,000%. It'll be you and Chelsea, and that's easy for you.
Everything. It just makes me all too nervous. But that's the Premier League. We'll move over to we're gonna try and give a little bit of a whip through the European roundup here. And Sam he's just consistent. It's the consistency of this man. He is a hero in sending over his La Liga Spanish football, where he's struggling severe. Got a Girona battering 5-1 as the challengers went back to the top of the league. I don't know if this is how up to date my table is, incidentally, just in case, because I'm just thinking, have I got Girona winning? I thought Girona were playing, no, Almira were playing Real Madrid, and Real Madrid come back. I've just suddenly thought, is this up to date? Yes, it is.
That Real Madrid win was controversial.
It's I'm sure Sam does mention Almira becoming a right. Oh my God. Almira becoming a right rompebolas. That's Spanish for pain in the ass for the top teams. After a draw with Girona the other week, they went 2-0 up against Real Madrid, but Los Blancos were not to be denied as a Jude Bellingham penalty, and Vinicius Jr. brought them level before the unlikeliest of scorers, Danny Carvajal, turned the game on its head to make it 3-2. It's his third in 15 games, which is as many as he scored in the last 9 seasons for Madrid. And Ferran Torres was on fire for Barcelona in a 4-2 win away at Real Betis, with a hat-trick, 1-2-3, as well as an assist for João Felix, as Barcelona become the first side to win away at Betis in La Liga this season, helping the growing pressure on head coach Xavi. Valencia are the form side with their 4th win in a row at home to a strong Atletico Bilbao. They won 0 thanks to Hugo Duro. I think they won 1-0. Well done, Josh. Reading. They won 1-0 thanks to Hugo Duro. Proving wherever Hugo, he's going to be there. Whatever Duro, he's going to be there. It's pure and simple. Yeah, he'll be there for you. Hugo Duro's going to be there. And elsewhere, Osasuna held off Getafe 3-2. Real Sociedad won 1-0 away at Celta Vigo. Las Palmas have been putting together a cheeky win with 8 in a row, with a 2-0 win at Rayo Vallecano, while Villarreal drew 1-1 with Mallorca, and Alves beat Cadiz 1-0. Tonight, Granada play Atletico Madrid, and the score is whatever the score is. Viva la fiesta, buenos noches. And that is where the table is. Do you know what? Almira still haven't won.
Atletico are 1-0 up, and it's 90 + 8.
So that is that result. But Almira still, I think Elche, I remember last season, Elche didn't win a game until they were in like the 30s, something of game played. So Almira were working hard to get there. So they're maintaining the playing crap standard. But not a lot of European leagues playing at the moment. Serie, which I haven't read much into at the moment. So the results are there. They are there on the screen for your perusal. Roma, they're winning the game after sacking Jose, which is all the Jose chat has gone very quiet. It's just gone very quiet. I mean, Charles, we were all about him going to Newcastle, but that's not going to happen now, is it?
I think he could either go to Newcastle, or maybe if Poch is really struggling at Chelsea, maybe go back to Chelsea.
Oh, I'd love it.
Who knows?
Oh, I'd love more Jose at Chelsea.
I don't know. Yeah. I like the job Poch is doing, to be fair. I think it's quite funny.
I think he's very, very admirable. Very admirable performance by Poch there. Well done. We are all fans here.
Team Poch. Hashtag Team Poch.
I'll tell you what, let's all give a thumbs up for Poch. But that team, what's that team at the top? Frozoni. I thought he's a superhero in The Incredibles. But they beat Cagliari 3-1. Empoli beat Monza 3-0. Genoa, do you Genoa? They beat a team whose name I cannot say. Solvit 2-1 at AC Milan. Obviously, as we mentioned earlier, despite the disgraceful scenes there, they beat Udinese 3-2, which was lovely to see. Inter Milan still top of the league on 51 points, not really being challenged by anyone other than Juve, who are on 49, who've been a little bit after a stop-start, they're picking up a lot of consistency, but they're the only team really that's going to struggle. It's nice to see AC Milan's form picking up. Fiorentina in 4th position, which is nice to see, and at Atalanta in 5th. I like Atalanta, aren't they a lovely team? And down at the bottom, the teams whose name I cannot say, and I'm not going to attempt again, have in 20th position on 12 points, Empoli, which is sad to see, on 16 points, Verona on 17, and Cagliari on 18 points, joint with Udinese in 16th. I hope you thoroughly enjoyed that. And Sam's asking Charlotte, who's in 14th? Oh, who's in 14th?
That was funny, that when I called him Lecky.
that is why. That's why everyone.
How do you say that?
I thought it was Lecce.
Mine's better. Lecky.
I don't really know. I just
mean. You just sat like typing away. That was mean.
That wasn't me. That was all Sam. That's all Sam. That is. Jen thoroughly enjoyed it. Come join us every week. Well, not Thursdays around every week. Michael's asking who I think's going to win Serie. I think Serie is Inter Milan's all day long. I think they're just playing too consistently.
Do you know what as well? Everyone's laughing at me now, but when I'm doing an advert and my voice comes on, it goes Lecky. Change your Lecky. You'll all want a bit of my money then.
Balls to your meerkats.
Yeah.
You want a bit of Charlotte advertising.
I'll be the voice of it.
Can you do your meerkat impression?
No. I've embarrassed myself enough tonight.
That does take us over to the Bundesliga, which again I haven't caught as much as I should have, but there are some standout results that I wanted to bring up. First of all, Stuttgart losing again to Bochum. They lost 1-0, and it wasn't even like a smash and grab really. I mean, they dominated possession, but not a lot of chances of quality created. Bochum 1-0 victory, which brings Stuttgart, they're still in 3rd, but creates that bigger gap between them and Bayern München, which are the games where, before I get into the really exciting games, because obviously there's 2 results that we all want to talk about. Dortmund beat Cologne, however you want to pronounce it. They won 4-0, and I'm not sure if anybody watched the game. Everyone's favourite Manchester United winger, Jadon Sancho, won a penalty and insisted he wanted to take it. Was saying, please, give me the ball, let me take it. And the penalty taker, I can't pronounce it, Nicholas Fullerug, I think his name is, said, no.
I know a goal's a goal, but I wouldn't want my first goal back to be a penalty. Like, in my opinion, I don't know, but I also think I like Jadon Sanchez. There's nothing against him, but I don't know if anyone saw the penalty he gave away. He big fat dived. So that's all I'll say on that. Big dive.
Big fat dive.
Big fat dive. I'm gonna get that on a t-shirt. Big fat dive.
Big fat dive.
I'll get Lecky.
Oh, that's when we do our merch. In fairness, everybody in the chat will put something out at some point on YouTube. We have enough subscribers now where we can produce and supply podcast merch. If anybody's interested in podcast merch, tweet us, Absolute Ball Pod, and just put in there podcast merch. Let us know. Podcast merch. You can say Lecky, big fat dive.
I think Claire's as well. Don't be a dick.
Hashtag don't be a dick.
Yes.
Ooh, nah, nah. And,
it's oh nah nah.
It's basically gonna be a load of merch from Charlotte, basically.
Oh my god, yeah.
Sam wants a hat with my face on it to scare away the pigeons, I think.
We all our little cartoons on like caps and like t-shirts and mugs. A mug with our faces on it. I feel like I've made
so good.
Did you know what? That'd go to my head. I'd be like, watch out, guys. Paparazzi.
Yeah. So let us know. And Rich said we need a Where's Claire. Let us know. Oh, let us know if you want anything. Make sure you drop us over in the Twitter RT. I mean, Michael's asking Stuttgart in 3rd. Didn't expect that. They've had Serge Garassi. They've had I think the goal score. I think he's 3rd in the league. Banging the goals in. He got injured and he just come back recently. but that is what produced them, bashed them up to third place. So yeah, Dortmund won 4-0. They've gone under such a resurgence since Jadon Sancho's come in. He's obviously key for them. Very happy. But the Spursy curse seems to be on its way to Bayern Munich. Harry Kane must be the reason why Spurs couldn't win anything, because he's doing he seems to be doing a favour for Bayern Munich as they lost 1-0 to Werder Bremen. In fairness, 22 shots. They had 22 shots, 69% possession, 7 shots on target, but they couldn't get in. In fairness to Harry Kane, before I get any abuse, he's the league top scorer by a long shot. He's banging in something like almost like a goal and a half a game. So he's playing wonderfully. But not enough in this game, because that allowed in the 91st minute, the resolve, the grind, the grit for the team managed by the most handsomest and skillfulest of all midfielders of all time, Xavi Alonso's Bayer Leverkusen. They're not Bayer Leverkusen, they're Xavi Alonso's Bayer Leverkusen side. The 91st minute, man whose name I cannot say, Hincapi, scored to make them 3-2 winners against Red Bull Leipzig. They went behind to Xavi Simons. Incidentally, Xavi Simons, I think he's on loan from PSG.
What's a goal?
Oh,
He's incredible. He is
so good, isn't he?
Yeah, great.
If somebody doesn't pick him up, I would be surprised, because who wants to play for
we
PSG?
We want the Premier League.
Yeah, come and join us at Liverpool. He's a Liverpool sort of player, because we haven't got enough good attacking players.
No, Josh looks like a man that has taste.
But he did score the 7th minute to put them ahead. And then Nathan Teller scored for Leverkusen to bring the scores equal. And then Luis Apena scored for RB Leipzig. And oh my gosh, Leverkusen went down again. But Johan Tah, the central defender, scored. And then, like I said, in the 91st minute, is another goal scored, which leaves Leverkusen unbeaten. Could this be the year that never Leverkusen finally beat Bayern Munich? And do you know, I think, I've got a feeling, I could be wrong, I've got a feeling that it will be the first time a manager other than Klopp has defeated Bayern Munich. That's how long they've dominated this league. They need change. Hopefully, Xavi Alonso is the man to bring the change. But that leaves us in the Bundesliga. Bayer Leverkusen first on 48 points, 7 points ahead of Bayern Munich, who are 7 points ahead of Stuttgart in third, who are 1 point ahead of Leipzig in fourth, who are the same points as Borussia Dortmund in fifth, who are 5 points ahead of Eintracht Frankfurt in sixth, who are the same points as Freiburg, who are 4 points ahead of Hoffenheim, who are 2 points ahead of Heidenheim, who are 1 point ahead of Augsburg, who are the same points of Wolfsburg, who are 1 point ahead of Borussia Mönchengladbach, who are the same points as Werder Bremen, who are the same points of Bochum, who are 6 points ahead of Union Berlin, who are 3 points ahead of Mainz, who are the same points as Cologne, who are the same points of Darmstadt. And that is the Bundesliga. And in the chat, we've got more merch ideas. Simon wants a Lecky t-shirt. Where's the other one that I saw?
I feel like I could be one of them on Instagram, where you have to, where you put in a special code and then you get so much off. It's like put in coupon Lecky and get 10% off your bill.
And Jeffrey's loving the German accent. I love some of the German names. I love Mönchengladbach and Darmstadt. Union Berlin. You've got to rock the Bundesliga, my favourite one. Sam wants, where's Claire's shower curtains? Christ. Where is Claire? Yes, she is. Oh my God, get out, you pivot. That would terrify me. That'd be terrifying. Where's Claire's spiders?
That was funny, that spider.
I'll tell you what.
Best moments ever.
It's all going. But remember, Twitter. Get on the Twitter, Artie. Make sure you tag us in. Hashtag merch, please, and tell us your ideas. Hashtag merch, please. That's good. I like that. MERCH, please. And that takes over to the Eredivisie. I have no idea what is going on here other than PSV just cannot lose. They can't lose. PSV Eindhoven they're on fire. They're on fire. I think if you take a look at this goal difference, and I'm not sure if you've seen it, haven't been on for a while, goal difference of 52, 60 goals scored in 18 games. I think at one point the average result was 4-0 victories.
That's insane. I don't know what it feels like to be a fan of a high goal scoring team. That must be... Josh, what's that like?
You get used to it. But I think this was the team. Guess who their striker is? Luke de Jong.
Oh, no way.
Luke de Jong up front. Serginho Dest in their team. Who else did they have? They had some names that I recognised before when I looked them up last time. They've got Jordan Teze in defence. There was Patrick Van Aanholt from Crystal Palace. They've got in their defence Joey Veerman. But yeah, they are banging the goals in. They're still top. They're still unbeaten. They drew their first game against Utrecht. I was going to say something really inappropriate. What I thought Utrecht looked like then. Something to do with you have kidney stones, but and a canal. Take from that as you will. Ajax beating a team whose name looks like Walwick.
Oh, Josh, can we talk just as from a Liverpool fan's perspective? Can we put the funniest thing I've read this year that Ajax have sold more Jordan Henderson shirts
I
than
know
any player ever in their history. I was literally like, that is the best thing. What the hell? I'm sorry. I know, what why? He's not, everyone's gassing him up. He's Jordan Henderson. What? I was so confused by that.
I know a man who sold out all of his morals and principles because he wanted to go and build football in the Saudi Arabia. Yeah. Does he think he's done it now? He's like, job done. I've created football in the Middle East. Yeah.
Not even that. I just think why are Ajax fans so hyped about this man? You're not signing Ronaldo. Let's relax.
Because he played for a proper team before. That's what it was. He won everything. He won everything at Liverpool.
Yeah, he did.
All the cups there is to win.
He wasn't he hasn't been your strongest player. He's had some great, moments, but in general, he's not been the key to your success.
Do you know what? What was I watching? Ben Foster's podcast. Have you seen that? There's a clip in that, and they were saying him and a friend. He's got friends apparently. And they said when they were playing against Liverpool, they said the one thing that he had was everyone's respect. He was the manager on the pitch, and he would direct everybody. Salah, Mane, Firmino, they would all look to Henderson, and he'd be sort of directing. So I think he's just let himself down. He was a solid player, not spectacular, solid player with some good moments, with a good head on him. But for me, he's just spoiled himself. I think Sam's saying he played for Sunderland and to a degree, but no merch for Henderson. Bad Henderson. That's true. This is true. I might say Van Aanholt's been around a while. He has. And Simon's saying Ajax have flown up the league. Michael didn't expect Ajax in fifth. Michael, Ajax were bottom of the league at one stage. They were rooted bottom of the league. And I think they sacked their manager. They've had issues with Mark Overmars because thankfully some clubs don't think it's acceptable to send inappropriate text messages. So they got rid of him. And they sacked their manager, brought in a temporary manager who's then going to become a director of football when they brought a new one in. That should ring bells for Hannah on how well that works out for some teams. But then they've just new manager rocketed himself up, beat Walwick 4-1. I have no idea if that's how you say it, but that's how it feels. WAALWJK. That's how it feels. It feels like a Walwick. And yes, a PSV top, Feyenoord a second, Trent a third, Achma in fourth position, ahead of Ajax. Go ahead, Eagles. Mike said, you enjoyed the podcast. He's going to go. Thank you very much for dropping us in. And everybody else, make sure you're subscribed. But you can catch us next time as well. And down at the bottom, Vitesse at the bottom. And then in the relegation playoff, Volendam and Walwick down there as well. I think I've dropped in League One, but I don't care. I don't care what's going on in French football because PSG just spoil it. You spoil it for everybody, you jerks.
Boring. It's boring.
I mean, they did draw with Lille or Lille, depending on
Yeah.
Oh, I want to pronounce it like Lily. That's how I want it to be
Lily.
said. Lily. Oh, Lily.
Lily.
So Lille drew with PSG 1-1, but then it's nice. It's nice in second place. Wouldn't that be nice if they were top place? But they lost 3-1 to Le Havre. Monaco were in third position on 30 points. Remember the once mega rich Monaco. But if you jump down towards the bottom, you can see Clermont's foot. Poor Clermont's foot. It must be infected or athlete's foot. It certainly isn't, as they're in 18th in the relegation zone. Lorient in 17th position. But Lyon are just 1 point ahead of the relegation zone, match scraping a 1-0 win against third place Monaco, which is just mental. But this in 16th, dangerously close to the relegation zone. It would just be sad to see Lyon going down. But that is all of football. I'm footballed out. I'm done. We've been here wildly longer than I intended to be. But thank you so much for sticking with us, everybody. Your perseverance shall be rewarded in the afterlife. I'm sure Jesus approves of you being here. Jesus endorses this message. Thank you for joining us on the Absolute Football Podcast. And everybody's going to want to follow Sean. What the hell am I talking about? Charlotte, where can people find you for sensible conversation, please?
Really? I think you meant Hannah then, because I don't talk sensible.
I don't. I sound like a misogynist.
But yeah, I'm most active on Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram. I am SharXRAFC. My Her Games 2 stuff is Rochdale HGT on all of them socials. You can catch me on Absolutely Lower League on Thursday at 8:30. And if anybody wants to watch some proper football, Rochdale versus Altrincham is live on TNT tomorrow night. So definitely give it a watch, but we always lose on telly. So I'm pre-warning you now.
You're on TNT. It could be explosive. TNT is dynamite. Come on.
Do you know what I'm sad about, though? I bet Ali McCoist isn't even going to be there, and I love Ali McCoist. But he does the big ones, doesn't he, on TNT? I love Ali McCoist.
What a selfish sod.
Grant Holt might be, though.
Yeah, and Grant, if you're watching, when's the All About Grant Holt?
I know.
Episode?
I actually messaged you as well to ask. You ignored me.
How rude.
I know.
Sort your life out, Grant.
I know. Matt Jarvis came on.
Yeah, exactly. He's a real man. Just because he's got a masculine name like Grant. Just think
do not get personal, Josh, because he's my favourite ever Rochdale player, apart from Ian Henderson. Love you, Hendo.
Yeah, Hendo. Where's your All About Ian Henderson episode going on, eh?
Yeah.
Brilliant.
But if anybody wants to watch somebody winding up Man City fans and insecure men for being a woman with an informed decision, where can they find you, Hannah?
Well, if you want a bit of light entertainment, I'm most active on Twitter. I do need to get back onto my TikTok, but the best place to follow me is Twitter at United Han. Like I say, I clap back occasionally at misogynists, and it might make you laugh. I mean, it makes me laugh inside. So, yeah, give me a follow. I do have some good takes. It's not just about that.
Do you know what did make me laugh though? I actually like one of your comments with that City fan, and you put, "Oh right, so you admit that you cheated, then?"
Well, he won't be your CEO when we get done for our charges. I was like,
so you're admitting it.
Loads of them have been like saying like we're screwed, aren't we? So it's good to see them like twitch a little bit.
That really made me laugh. I liked it.
Brilliant.
So that is it, Hannah. If for reasons I can't explain why, I'm at FMFO_official. I will be changing that at some point. Apathy. That's my only issue. But of course, Charlotte, do you have the pod socials? Because
yes,
I don't have that slide. Look at this. Here we are.
Bear with me. I can't see, as you all know.
There it is. And of course, the most importantest thing that you can do today is to follow us at the Absolute Football Podcast on Twitter. We are at Absolute Ball Pod. Of course, here on YouTube, Absolute Football Podcast. And please, it's free to subscribe, but every time you do, an angel gets its wings. It is worth doing. So hit that link. And on Twitch, of course, we're at Absolute Football Podcast. And on the tick, boom, it is at Absolute Football Pod. And Instagram and Threads, Absolute Football Podcast _. And on Facebook, the Absolute Football Podcast. us. And of course, it is absolutely Premier League on a Monday at 8:30. And Wednesday is our absolute WSL show, which is going steaming at the moment. It's really great to get the team on board. And I'm actually learning things. I'm becoming educated on women's football. But that is this Wednesday, live at 8:30 p.m. I'm there. Why? Because I just love it. I cannot get enough of talking about football. But fortunately, there is going to be a team of people that know what they're talking about. I'm just going to guide them through the stormy, choppy waters of live podcasting, and they will flourish us with education and entertainment. I have no doubt at all. But that is on Wednesday. And of course, the rowdy rabble of absolutely lower league, where they cover all real football, all real men's football, is covered on Thursdays at 8:30 p.m. and I've no idea who's there either, but the only way to find out is make sure that you are there. In the chat there, Graham says, glad we were on longer, give him a chance to catch us. Thank you very much, and he's going to catch up with us later on. Shauna said, I can't get enough of the pod, the amazing crew. Hannah and Charlotte, I told you at the start, Hannah and Charlotte, that's what it's all about.
Andrew.
Yes.
Andrew. So
who's Andrew?
Well,
what a child. And so I said the hate Hannah gets makes angry. It does make us all angry, but she's rock hard. Rock hard.
I nail Simon, but I appreciate you.
And Simon's also saying Thursday show is the best host, so I no longer appreciate you. But thank you everybody for joining us. It's been really great. Thank you, Charlotte. Thank you, Hannah, for being absolutely tabulous. And to everybody in the chat, there's so many of you. To the new chatters, I believe it was Mikey and Jen. Thank you very much for joining us. It's been a pleasure to have you here. It's a pleasure to have all of you. You're all of our family. We love you all dearly. Have a pleasant evening.